In this video, we're taking a look at this broken PlayStation. Do excuse the bad video quality, it will get better. I'm just recording this on my phone now for convenience. But the fault with this particular PlayStation is a really specific audio issue. We can hear the game audio just fine, but take a look at this. Let's restart the PlayStation. And anyone who has ever turned on a PlayStation will know that there's usually a sound on this splash screen. And it's not the cable, because I tested the cable with this working PlayStation next to it and there was no issues with the audio. And again, we should be hearing audio on this screen too, but nothing. But then, of course, when we go onto the game, we can hear the audio just fine, so a very specific audio issue there. My guess is that there might be something wrong with the, the audio controller chip, the sound controller chip inside this PlayStation 1. I also have another PlayStation 1 that's not quite working. This is a much more obvious fault, but this PlayStation 1 here. I won't be trying to fix it in this video, but I'll make it perhaps a quick fix video a bit later on. So you can see it closes fine, opens fine, but when I go to close it again, there's something wrong with the latch. That shouldn't be too hard to fix, I'm thinking. It might be famous last words, I might have just jinxed that, but I reckon that should be a lot easier to fix. And so I'll save that for another video, which will be a much shorter, quick fix video after I've dealt with this PlayStation with the audio issue. We'll start on the PlayStation with the audio issues. I do have white paint on my hands. I've been painting the house. And you'll notice all these screws along the mat. I have a messy mat because I've been working on other projects, so I need to tidy that up too. But let's get back to the PlayStation. So the original PlayStation has a few Phillips screws on the bottom. It's really easy to open. I'm just going to grab my Phillips screwdriver. And on the bottom there, you have, I think, 6 Phillips. And that's one of the things I really like about this PlayStation actually, because a lot of other consoles, they might have you remove the feet or remove tabs before you can get to the screws underneath. But this shows everything. It even has little arrows you see on the plastic showing you where each of the screws are. And it makes it dead simple to open. And that's the last one, so I should be able to flip it around. Oh, is there something caught on? I'll just make sure there's no, sometimes there's like a wire, an LED wire or something like that in other consoles. Oh, nothing. Okay, it just lifts right off. Oh, that was easy. That was probably one of the easiest console openings I've ever had. So it's a bit messy inside, a bit dusty, as you can see. Not too bad though. I've seen a lot worse before. And there's the LED there. And obviously the power supply on that side. So I don't think it's going to be a power supply issue. So that's obviously the power supply on that side there. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to focus on this side here. And so what do we have? We have some kind of metal shielding over it. How do we get this CD spindle off? We take out the ribbon cable here. Does that pull out? I think it looks like... Yep, that's coming. Alright, and we have a power. Looks like a power socket here. Pull that out. Oh, there we go. It just lifts out like that. Right, now let's tackle the Phillips screws. The shielding's a bit stubborn. I'm trying to pull off the back, but there's something that's keeping it held down along the front. I'm just going to grab my tweezers, see if I can pull it off. I think there's, it's hard to see, but I think there's some metal holding the metal shielding down, like kind of you can see along the front here. If I can pry that open, give it a pull. I think it's coming. There we go. Yeah. Beautiful. That's done it. All right, we've got another metal kind of shield on top. So we've got this metal shielding here, and as you can see, it's actually soldered onto the board just here. And there's a couple of other points as well around the back. And if I flip it around, we got two more solder locations there as well. So I'll take the shield off first before we start analysing the problem. So it's just those points, and then that should come clean off. The first thing I'll do is I'll take the board out from the console itself. Then I'll desolder that shielding, take it off, and then we can have a good look at the chips and try to analyse what the problem might be. So now the board is completely out of the plastic shell. Let us take this shielding off. So I'm going to use a bit of flux. What flux will do is when I apply the soldering iron and the wicking, the flux will just help the solder flow a lot better, and it will mean the wicking takes it up a lot easier and gets sucked up by the wick a lot easier, allowing me to remove the solder and then eventually take this shield off. That's the theory anyway. So I'm going to apply it to all solder joints, and then I'll use some wicking, take off that solder, and hopefully that shielding will come off without much fuss. Okay, so I've pretty much got every leg off, I think, at this point. It wasn't too much effort, but I'm still unable to lift it off the board. So I'm not sure if there could be another solder point that I've missed. You look at that. I've missed one. If I'll show you, just under this flap here. Yeah, there's another one there. Okay, that explains it then. All right, well, let's take this copper, I don't know what it is, like kind of like a copper-looking plastic shielding, like it's some kind of flap. It's stuck on, quite easy to come off. So then I have good access to that final point, and we'll desolder that, and hopefully that will mean we can just easily pull up the shielding and take a good look at the chips underneath. So now we have access to all of the chips, and I looked it up, And this chip just above IC308, that's the sound controller. So that controls the audio. We also have the CPU and the GPU that we can see now that we removed the cover. But turns out I probably didn't need to remove that shielding at all, because I think I see the problem and it's on an area of the board that wasn't covered by that shielding. So take a look at the board, see if you can spot the problem for yourself. So that is the sound controller chip just there. Let me get a little bit closer for you and really zoom into that spot. So you'll definitely be able to see it now. We've got some webs and other rubbish around the chip, but I don't think that's causing a problem so much as that spot of corrosion just around there. I can see from here there is one broken trace at least, and those wires that lead to the other side of the board, they also might be badly corroded, and therefore information is not going from this side to the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is give it a quick clean with isopropyl alcohol and a static-free brush. Okay, so that's clean now. I've cleaned away most of that corrosion. You can clearly see, yeah, look, there's definitely a broken trace there. And those wires aren't looking too healthy. I'll do some continuity testing. There's at least 3 wires I see there that might have problems. I want to see if the connection has been broken. So like I say, those corroded wires on the top side of the board connect to these wires on the bottom side, and as you can see, they are also slightly corroded. So I'll give them the same isopropyl alcohol and brush treatment just to clean them up and see what we're working with. So here's just a closer look at those wires. So I'm going to test the trace on the top side of the board. Now, where does that go? It goes to the, does it go to the end pin here? One of these pins. Oh, there we go. Right. So we're getting some kind of reading, but there's a high resistance there. And that will definitely be causing a problem, I imagine. Let's flip the board over. This is going to be hard to show on camera, but I'm going to attempt to measure the wires as well. So I'm matching up the wires from one side to the other and see if there's continuity between them. So I'll just do a quick voice over here, just because it's not that easy to see on the camera. Essentially, I did test these wires, all 3, and I found 2 of them to be suspect. There was a third one that looked a bit dodgy, but it was actually okay according to my continuity testing. But 2 of them seemed like they might have problems. So from my testing, there was about 3 broken connections there that I needed to fix up in order to restore the audio. So that was the 2 wires that had corrosion problems, and the track on the top side of the board that was connected but had a very high resistance because it was obviously highly corroded. So just another voiceover section here, just because this took me quite a while and I don't want to have a 2-hour-long video. What I'm attempting to do now is run threads of wire, 2 to 3 threads of wire through those wires to healthy bits of the board. So as you can see here, I'm just connecting those threads of wires to the pins of the chip and then threading them to the other side and soldering them here so that hopefully we get a better connection. I'm using my 3.5 times magnification goggles, you can see here, to help me do that job, because those wires are so small it's incredibly frustrating and fiddly. And now you see I'm adding a bodge wire to repair that track on the top of the board. So you remember we had a corroded track that was showing a very high resistance. So I'm just going to bridge that with this wire here. Okay, that should do it now. Now it's just testing for continuity. So the connections look fine. It is definitely a bodge job. I'm no professional by any means. And now I'm just checking to see if there's continuity. And I can't get any. Now I just want to see if that trace goes to there. Yes, it does go to that one. So I think I'm... And we're getting... Oh! Right, we've got something there. Right, so that goes to that via. There's no shorts there. Nope. So that shouldn't connect to that part there. That's good. But that connects to that via there. That to that. Now this one, I couldn't get a signal off of this one. I think this connects to the via on the end here. It could be my multimeter probes. I have quite thick multimeter probes, and it makes it hard to get inside those small little vias. So I'm going to keep testing, just because I think it might be the probes. Ideally, I should be using finer probes, but I don't have any on hand. One here, so let's check this one. So I think these to be, yep, they're connected. So this one should be the end via here, yeah. Nothing. Oh no, okay. That's definitely the right one. Oh, we got something. Yeah, I'm not sure why it wasn't picking it up before. You know what? I think it is my probes. I think it is my multimeter probes. They're perhaps a bit too thick, and it's not getting or not making proper contact with the metal in the via because it's such a small little hole there. And then so we got continuity there with that one, no continuity there, so it's not shorting out on that pad there, which is good. We got continuity on that third via. This third via here, it looks a bit suspect. As you can see, it's working fine. And then this one, come on. Oops, I'm doing the wrong solder joint. Oh no, this one, isn't it? Yeah. So this one, and I've lost it again. Oh, there we go. Great. Well, I think we got connection there. So I'm happy with that. So let's put the PlayStation back together now. And all what's left to do is test it. Before I do that, I'll show you the top of the board. This is the bodge fix that I did there to fix that. Let me zoom in a bit. So you can see these strands of wire that are connecting through the via onto their respective pins on the chip. I've also got a bodge wire that goes from that chip just there to the sound controller chip. So that should do it. And then obviously on the other side we have the other solder joints that connect that thin thread of wire from the chip on the top side through the via onto this bottom side here. I've also done continuity tests on those vias from the top side of the board to the underside, just to make sure they are passing that signal through, and it showed that we have connectivity there as well. And ideally what I'd do next is I would add some solder mask. And that's to prevent those little strands of wire from potentially coming loose and shorting. Unfortunately I don't have any, so I'm going to leave it like it is for now. I don't think it will move, especially since I'm not going to be bashing the PlayStation around. Now I'm just going to check continuity with this green wire here before I put everything together again. There. Excellent. Okay, let's reassemble. So it's the moment of truth. Let's see. Yes, there we go. It's that's done it. So it was those corroded sections on the board near the audio chip, as you might expect, and those connections I made through the vias, although it was by far from the cleanest job and they looked a bit dodgy, they were certainly making connections with where they're supposed to go. And yeah, we're getting sound on the intro, and we should be getting sound on the game too. Yeah, perfect. It's a relatively simple problem, not such an easy fix though, with those tiny wires trying to thread them through. There might be an easier way to do it, although for me that seemed like the easiest way given the materials I had on hand. Seems strange that tiny part of the board had corrosion, everything else was fine, just that spot, and I wonder what actually happened. Not much could actually get under there to cause that corrosion, although there were spider webs on that chip, so I'm wondering if it's bug related perhaps. I have no idea. Anyway, a satisfying fix. Glad I got that one working in the end. I will be fixing the other PlayStation with the latch issue in a future video, so stay tuned for that. That's it from me. Thank you for watching as always, and I hope to catch you in the next one.